12:48 today, we received a call of someone that had been stabbed on Doe Lane, which is behind me here. Officers responded there, made contact with a victim who was being treated by rescue, who had been stabbed multiple times. He gave the police the name of the person that stabbed him and said he was still in a house a little further down the road. So after gathering that information, the initial officer and his backup and his sergeant, who also showed up, approached the other residents, went up, asked, knocked on the door to see who was there. Another man came out and said, hey, I wasn't involved in any of this. And he went out and left the door open, and they could see what turned out to be our suspect sitting inside on a couch. So they walked in, tried to make contact with him. Very quickly, according to the officers that witnessed this, this individual jumped off the couch, attacked the first officer that walked in, stabbed him on his left arm, a really bad cut on his left arm. And that the sergeant that was in there was in the less lethal mode. He had his taser. Hopefully be able to use that, but and I believe he tried to, but unfortunately the officer had already been stabbed. The officer did fire a couple of shots with his rifle and one with his pistol. We're looking into why he transitioned, but he did that. The suspect was shot and died there at the scene. The officer that was involved in this been on for 16 years. His name's Stephen Brown. It's his first shooting. The suspect here, his name's Brandon Peters. He's a white male, 29 years old. That's most of what I've got right now. We'll do a follow-up tomorrow morning, probably get you some more, but I can try to answer some questions if I miss something.
Did Brandon Peters continue to come after that officer even after he had stabbed him on the arm?
I think it was all just a, kind of a continual fight there. I mean, he stabbed him and then he was shot, so I think it was kind of that quick. I don't have that kind of detail yet. They haven't even made it into the house yet.
Undersheriff, we've heard now 3 different last names for this suspect. Moore, Stone, and Peters.
Okay, well, Peters is the name I was given, and if that's not correct, then I apologize now, and I'll straighten it out for you later, but that's the name that we got.
So there were 3 JSO officers there as part of this call out, but only the officer that got stabbed is the one that actually fired his weapon.
That's correct, and if you think about it, they're in pretty tight quarters going into this home, and the sergeant was armed with his taser. The other officer that did not fire said that due to close proximity and all that, she would have been endangering the other officers to try to engage.
How is Officer Brown doing?
He's at the hospital and stable, and that's the last I got.
Spell his first name. Stephen.
I'll get the correct
She'll have
spelling.
to get it for you.
To clarify the suspect status.
He's deceased. He died at the scene.
And for clarification, the initial altercation, any idea what that was about?
I don't know what it was about, but I do know that I'm told that individual was stabbed 10 or 11 times and is in life-threatening condition at the hospital.
And Peters, he was in his own home when officers?
I believe that was his home, yes.
Did the stabbing take place in the suspect's home or the victim's home?
In the suspect's home, and I don't know where the victim lives. He was at that home. I don't know what his status is.
And you don't know why the victim showed up there? Altercation, argument, what?
I have no idea. We got the call to the stabbing, and rescue took him away almost immediately, and then they went down, and this happened, all within a matter of 10 or 15 minutes. And so they're still working through it. Like I said, the detectives haven't made it into the house yet.
What's happened to the person that first came out of the house that said, I wasn't the person that did this?
He was interviewed. He's somewhere around. Nothing has happened to him.
We've heard, and I don't know that you can answer this, but I'll ask, that this might have been a form of suicide.
I don't know that yet. I haven't gotten any indication of that yet.
Did the suspect say anything or give any indication before he jumped off the couch at officers?
Not that I've been told. I was standing by when they interviewed the one witness officer, and she said he just very quickly sprang off the couch. She said she never saw the knife until he had already stabbed the officer.
So Officer Brown has one wound?
Yes.
On the left or right arm?
I think it's the left, but it's certainly one of his arms, yes.
Was there anyone else in the home?
Not to my knowledge.
Any other questions?
This is the 3rd incident involving police in just over a week that we've seen resort to violence. I mean, is there anything you want to say to that?
The thing I'd say to that, it's just a very dangerous job. This is what these men and women do. They come here every day and do this. This is the 3rd one. This officer was stabbed, one officer was shot in the arm, and one officer was shot at. Unfortunately, that's part of what they do. And if you look at the calls, now this one was a call where someone had been stabbed, so it was a very serious call. The other 2 calls, one was trying to stop somebody for a seatbelt violation, and one was following up a hit-and-run traffic crash. So no matter the call, no matter the severity of the call, these officers are walking right into this stuff all the time, right in the middle of the day. I mean, this was just afternoon today. So, yeah, it's a very dangerous job. They understand that. They're trained and equipped to deal with that. They're out here taking care of it.
Is Officer Brown at UF Health?
I don't think so. I don't know which hospital he went to. He was taken by car to a hospital.
That victim, the stabbing victim, is that person's name? being released at this time?
I don't even know it. So we'd have to work on. I don't know it.
And you did say 3 shots?
I think it was 3 shots, but they haven't gotten inside to confirm that. But that's what I think.
But that
What
took
street
place
did the other
inside the house.
stabbing happen on?
I'm sorry.
The original
Everything
stabbing.
happened in the same house. But after the initial stabbing, the victim of that stabbing left that residence and went to another one to call the police.
Gotcha.
And that's where we were called. So
Any other questions?
Okay.
So
Officer-
the secondary home that the suspect was ultimately found in, do you know if that was his home or the initial one was his home?
the suspect never left the house he was in. That's he's in his house.
Okay.
Everything happened there. The only secondary is where the victim of that walked to call the police.
You said Officer Brown was taken by car. Would that have been a Jacksonville Sheriff's Office car?
Yes.
So they drove him straight to the hospital.
Rescue looked at him and said that they thought it would be okay for them to take him in the car. And that's what they did.
The stabbing of that victim took place outside, though, or also
I believe it was inside the house too.
inside the room?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we'll be doing a follow-up in the morning. Hopefully we can